Welcome back to Choice of Robots. We are a hunted woman, and we've got a really cool looking robot. What should we do? You find yourself with a fair amount of time as a 26-year-old with neither a job nor school to attend. What will you do? I don't think we're going to start a cult. Increase grace? What are our stats? I don't remember. Okay, so we've got tons of empathy. Grace would be really good. Discover new books that weren't part of her education. That might make autonomy. I've had it with real robots. I work on my robot novel. No. We're going to make her perfect. You find a workspace for a very modest amount of money in a converted old gun factory. Some of the artists secretly live in their workspaces here, having found ways to sneak plumbing from the main restroom into their spaces, and you're very glad to have found a more hospitable place to actually live. In this community, you learn from the random conversations in the hallways the aesthetic principles of other disciplines, the painter's rules of colors, the photographer's rules of composition, the metalworker's patient buffing of metal until it shines. All of these you apply to Miku's body in turn, and she becomes beautiful. Damn straight she does. That was a +4 grace. I don't think I've seen +4 anything in the game to this point. Months pass, and you can't help but notice that as time goes on, two things are happening. The first thing you've noticed is that all of the people who you would normally interact with over the course of the day are slowly being replaced with robots. All of the cashiers at grocery stores are now robots, replacing the supervised self-checkout systems that were popular a few years ago. Police patrol cars have been largely replaced with drones at every intersection, which automatically issue tickets against people who break traffic laws. That is some 19 Orwellian 84-ish bullshit. Drones delivering packages fly by the empty storefronts which they are replacing. It seems Josh is really starting to be successful in the robot business, with or without you. You hate to admit it, but perhaps it was just the right time for sentient robots to gain traction. And Josh didn't need your expertise in particular after all. The second thing you've noticed is there is a lot more people milling about these days, out of work. Between the internet and robots, there just isn't much for your average person to do. Instead, wealth seems to be concentrating in the hands of a few who can build those internet services and robots. Your neighborhood is becoming filled with people who draw unemployment checks and drive 20-year-old cars, while every so often a flying car passes overhead to remind you all that at least some people are living in the future. How do you interact with them? Do we tutor them? Are we charitable? We're not going to keep Miku out of sight. Do we encourage Miku to interact with them? No. Miku interacting with them, they're going to be hell-bent on getting revenge for what they lost their jobs for. And people are shitbags like that. We'll tutor them. We're not going to put Miku in the wrong place. While most of your neighbors don't take you up on your tutoring, the few who do seem very driven to succeed at it. Their high schools never taught them how to program or invent, and as a result, they felt left behind in the new job market without a clear way to get ahead. You feel pretty good about giving your students a livelihood, and it's not a bad way for you to make some cash either. You're surprised your rather poor students can scrape together the money, but they find a way to make it work. Hey, we've got some wealth. We're getting by now. Look at us. We're surviving. We're in the upper echelons of the... Soon, you begin to see another kind of robot appearing in the market. Cheap Chinese versions of Josh's home line products. These are inexpensive enough that even people in your neighborhood begin to purchase them. for work around the home. You're not really sure where they even get that kind of money, but you suppose people find a way when they really want something. A few months after these robots have taken to the markets by storm, you get a call from Josh. "This is bullshit," he cries. "This Chinese company stole my designs. I have no idea how, but now they're undercutting my prices with their cheap labor and their cheap raw materials." "The designs did look familiar," you say lightly. "Can you testify before Congress that the designs were stolen?" Josh queries anxiously. "If you do, they might embargo the robots, and that will keep the US robots afloat. They said I need an expert witness who isn't in my company, and I've already hired everybody else who's good." Look, Josh, we're not friends with you, are you? No, we're not. Let's be clear. Do you think you could promise to make your own robots affordable in the neighborhood? No, I don't care about the other people. We're a little tiny bit selfish. Make it worth my while, and sure, I'll do it. Sorry, Josh. I feel bad. Josh sighs. Now you decide to be the mercenary? Fine, we can deal. Josh and you haggle for a little while, eventually coming to an agreement on fair consultation fee. It's pretty good for a day's work. Double plus wealth. How are we doing now? We have disposable income. You know what? I'm happy. We don't need to mess with anything else work-wise. You go to Josh's factory, where he lays out his own robots and the Chinese robots side by side. Sure enough, it's pretty clear someone has duplicated the designs exactly. It's as clear to you as plagiarized text. Based on your testimony, Congress passes a law banning the import of all Chinese robots. In retaliation, China cuts off the export of rare earth and batteries derived from them. Suddenly, the cost of all the little miniaturized electronics that people have grown accustomed to, cell phones, laptops, wearable computing, becomes prohibitively expensive. This, my friends, is why you don't deal with the government. Miku herself was designed to use cell phone batteries as cheap, lightweight power source, but now that option is looking prohibitively expensive, and Miku's batteries are starting to wear down. What do? See, solar and nuclear energy would be amazing. What's our wealth at? 4. Shit. If we had one more wealth, we would have been able to invest in a nuclear reactor for Miku, and that would have been the dream. We're gonna pay for it. We have disposable income. Motorcycle batteries, not so much. Car batteries, yeah. Yuck. No, we're paying the inflated price. Minus double wealth. Fuck, that happens. China had been the foremost exporter of rare earth-derived batteries, but you do have other legal options. Yeah, legal. That's a very interesting word. You try not to think about the somewhat brutal conditions of the African mines where the new batteries got their rare earths. They're sort of the high-tech equivalent of blood diamonds. Fuck me. But it allows you to keep your robot design, which by now is quite well refined. What are we doing? We're getting by again. We're struggling, but we're getting by. We just want to be happy. One day, April 10th, 2026, a date you will not forget, you are awakened by the singing outside of your apartment in San Fran. It sounds like a large choir with an accent you can't quite place, and the song is quiet but insistent. The people are the heroes now. Behemoth pulls the peasant's plow. You go to the window. Red shirt people wearing red banners have lined up in immense numbers along the main boulevard outside your window. Noting your interest, Miku walks up to the window as well. Ah, Miku says. This must be the parade for the Prime Minister of China. Can we go see? Sure. Why not? Yikes. Yikes. Now that Miku mentions it, you think you saw something about this on Reddit. The Chinese Prime Minister is visiting San Fran to discuss trade issues with President Irons. You emerge from your apartment into the crowd of red shirt, flag-wearing supporters, mostly Chinese. You have the sense this kind of groundswell of support for a politician outside his home country isn't normal. Like maybe these supporters were paid. But that could just be an American point of view. You're not sure. They're paid. 100%. Further down the road, you see the vanguard of the parade. Dancers dressed as the god of the ancient Chinese pantheon. They wear Chinese opera masks, wear banners with river dragons on their back, and twirl bear swords, not bear swords. The people are the heroes now. Behemoth pulls the peasant plows. I don't know who Behemoth is. Behind the sword dancer vanguard, you see a troop of men wearing the Chinese tunic suits, sometimes called Mao suits, and carrying little red books. They are the ones singing the song, now growing more insistent as the parade draws closer. Behind them, you see a legion of men in modern Chinese military dress uniforms. Paid! With the ancient past, more recent past, and the present covered, you surmise whoever comes next will be meant to symbolize China's future. And mountain ranges, one by one, rise red beneath a harvest moon. Well, that doesn't rhyme. At the end of the parade, a Chinese man in a suit stands in an all-red, winged convertible, waving at the crowd. It is one of the new, sleek, Chinese-made flying cars, the Tian-8, a symbol of China's rise. You can see down the street that the parade is going to pass close by an anti-robot protest being held in the park. The unemployed hold signs that say things like, "I'm with the 99%. People vote, machines don't." And "America's coming for you, China." You have a growing sense of uneasiness as this Chinese parade heads towards the protesters. We're not having him anywhere near the protesters. We're not having her anywhere near the... Stay close to me, please. Stay close, you tell Miku. I'm not sure what is going to happen, but I don't want you harmed. Yes, Lily. You soon hear a shot ring out, coming from the crowd of protesters. A crimson splotch wells through the crimson prime holy shit. The problem with the way I read is I can read 3 sentences ahead while my mouth is still reading, and so I go, a crimson splotch, and as I'm speaking, I've already read the rest of the paragraph, and it's like, I react too far in advance. A crimson splotch wells through the Prime Minister's shirt, and he falls over in his Tian-8, dead. Oh, we might have been able to bodyguard that. His bodyguards fire back into the crowd, who panic and flee in all directions. Some of the panicked protesters are carrying weapons, and they begin to fire at the parade. The parade goers furthest from the protesters flee, but the closer ones decide en masse to rush the protesters. We don't play politics. We don't care. We're getting the hell out of here. Miku nods. You run as the sound of gunfire intensifies. The Chinese contingent is massacred. Oh shit. And the Chinese government vows vengeance. The first shots of the robot war have been fired. Hot damn. The war machine. Well, that'll be for next time. That will be for next time. Till next time, guys. Later.